Okay, so I'm not gonna do a little intro thing where I walk up or jump up and say, hey, I'm back everybody. I pretty much took the entire month of October off from doing reviews. I wanted to focus on my uni work. I got that all completed. My semester's pretty much done now. So I'm gonna do all my movie reviews every week. Promise you, thank you to everyone out there who kept asking me, come on, where's your new review? Where's your new review? Kept motivating me, kept making me think, all right, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I got to do it. Because I want to show off my new suit, you know? So, I'm back. Doctor Strange is the 14th film in the MCU, and it stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange, a brilliant neurosurgeon who, thanks to a horrific accident, loses the use of his hands, which he prides himself on. His hands are like magical, but then they get severely cut the shit up and it's really gross and stuff. He can't use them anymore. So he goes out trying to search for a new way to heal them, and instead finds these League of Sorcerers who, instead of just healing his hands, he eventually heals himself. The sorcerers are led by the Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton, and she educates Stephen Strange about different dimensions and the multiverse and the astral plane and all these weird, cool, magical things, which is just awesome to have introduced into the Marvel world, because we've seen space battles, we've seen men in armor, we've seen super soldiers, we've seen gods, but we've never seen magic until now. The film also stars Chiwetel Ejiofor as Carl Mordo, Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer, Benedict Wong as a character named Wong, no joke, it's weird, and Mads Mikkelsen as the villain Caecilius. Now this cast, just first off, is fantastic. To see a cast that's so diverse in terms of gender and race. And that's what I hope that Marvel can keep doing. Now, a movie can have a great cast, but then it could also kind of squander that on something that doesn't really work out. Doctor Strange isn't that movie because it uses its cast perfectly. The performances that each of the members of this cast give is fantastic. Benedict Cumberbatch is so incredible as Stephen Strange. He plays into that horrible arrogance that the character starts off with. You've seen arrogance in Tony Stark and Thor, but you've never seen arrogance like this. This guy just is the most selfish asshole on the face of the earth, really. Like, you kind of don't like him when you first meet him. You're thinking, oh, this guy's a douchebag. But then you eventually grow to like him because you start to see that internal conflict with him. He starts to learn the lessons, the usual superhero origin sort of stuff. But Cumberbatch plays it so well because not only is he a great actor, he can play the drama very well, but he does something that we've never seen him do before. He actually has a lot of fun with the roles, because in previous roles we've only seen him as, you know, Khan or Smaug or Alan Turing in The Imitation Game, and he's always kind of dark, or, you know, he has a lot of seriousness, there's a lot of emotion in his face, but not a lot of fun with the role. Stephen Strange is the first role where he's cracking jokes and being a witty guy. Chiwetel Ejiofor is fantastic as Carl Mordo, who is a character that comics fans will recognize him as a main villain of Doctor Strange. And I was a little wary because I knew that he was a villain in the comics, and I was thinking, well, why is he a good guy in this movie? But they used that sort of they use the future that the character will go into in this movie very well, because I think that the conflict within Carl Mordo is so strong, and you're really feeling like, this guy doesn't know where his loyalties lie. He's been so wrapped up in the sorcerers and believing their cause, but then some things happen in this movie that seriously make him doubt everything that he's ever known. And you know, he kind of feels a little jealous about Stephen Strange because he's just coming in and being this amazing guy and learning all these magical tricks and all these spells and wavy hand stuff so quickly. Whereas Carl Mordo has been training for, like, you know, years and years and years. He's just thinking, what the hell, dude? Come on, you're taking my thunder away. Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius is a very interesting villain. He's not a fantastic villain. Yes, they still have that problem where the villains aren't as fantastic as the heroes, but I think that Mads Mikkelsen really poured a lot more emotion, a lot more heart and character into this character that really elevated it beyond the writing. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One is brilliant. Like, she blew all that whitewashing controversy crap out of the water. She delivered a fantastic performance. There's one particular scene in this movie. It's shared between the Ancient One and Stephen Strange. I won't tell you what the scene is because it's a big spoiler for the film, but it happens about, you know, just where the second act finishes and we get into the climax. And there's this one particular moment that I watched and I thought, that is beautiful. Not only is it beautifully shot, and I'll get onto that later, this movie's just gorgeous to look at, but the acting that both Tilda Swinton and Benedict Cumberbatch pour into that one moment is phenomenal. Like, I have to say that Doctor Strange really is the best acted Marvel movie I've seen, because we've seen Marvel movies and they, you know, all the cast is having fun and cracking jokes and stuff. Maybe there's a few little dramatic moments. We did get that in Civil War, but, you know, for the majority, a lot of the cast were just having fun with each other. And yeah, okay, fine, in Doctor Strange they have fun as well, because it's Marvel, it's fun, it's going to have to be fun, otherwise it's going to be, you know, someone else that we don't really talk about. The performances that this cast give, because this cast is made up of fantastic actors, all of their performances are just, they're brimming with emotion, with pure acting. These cast members really poured everything they got in it, and it really pays off. Now I've been banging on about this cast. The rest of the movie is wonderful, like really is just spectacular to look at. Director Scott Derrickson really just sheds that whole thing about, you know, his past being just a horror director. I was a little wary about that, but the way that he does that, the way that he pulls off this movie, he pulls off the characters, the drama, the humor, and the spectacle, the amazing visual effects. I really feel like this guy is, you know, he's like James Gunn or Peyton Reed or the Russo brothers before them. Such very interesting, different filmmakers that Marvel has chosen. But they chose them for a good reason, and you see why they chose them, because they can pull it off very well. Derrickson has a wonderful way of showing these beautiful images using cinematographer Ben Davis quite well. I'd have to say that the cinematography did lag in the hand-to-hand combat scenes, because there's a couple of those where the sorcerers are using their weird mystical kung fu stuff and the camera shakes around a lot and it's really hard to pay attention to what's going on, and I kept noticing that, and there's a couple of those scenes and I just think, oh, that was a little weird. Couldn't you just keep the camera still? There's so many battle sequences and you've seen in the trailers where all the worlds are flipping and New York City's caving in on itself like a big taco and like floating things everywhere, and it looks like Inception meets Avatar. It's just that in the movie, that's extended. It goes on for so long, but it doesn't feel boring. It doesn't feel like a slog. The whole time you're just sitting there like, oh my God. Doctor Strange is just a complete mind-bending trip of a movie, because you have those awesomely intricate visuals, but also, this is what I loved as well, is that they did those psychedelic panels that Doctor Strange comics was so known for in the 60s, and they used that so well. There's so many sequences where I was just sitting like, my God, I wish I wasn't on acid, because I would just be like, like his hands going all, fingers are becoming little hands, and so it's just like, what? The music as well for Doctor Strange, like there was a little bit of a thing that happened a couple of months back where the YouTube channel Every Frame of Painting made a video called the Marvel Symphonic Universe, where they looked at how Marvel's music isn't as memorable as pretty much any other film score. Now, I had my own problems with that video. I agree with them in some points, but I disagreed with others, because I can sing the Avengers theme tune like right now, you know, dun 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 dun. I can do it. Just don't get me started. But I do agree that there's a lot of other Marvel movies where I don't know the actual score off by heart, and it's just a lot of just general sort of music. But what I loved about Doctor Strange is that they didn't just get some random composer who's just going to use the temp music and then go along from there. No, they got Michael Giacchino, an Oscar winner, a brilliant mastermind of composition, someone who can make such amazing themes, and one theme that I cannot listen to without crying, and that's the music from Up. Just don't get me started on it. And I was paying attention to the music in Doctor Strange, and yes, they had the familiar beats of violins and brass horns, but they also used harpsichords. That's fantastic! What kind of big budget blockbuster of this day will use a harpsichord in the music? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure that when I watch this movie again and again, that theme, the Doctor Strange theme, is going to keep sticking in my head. The climax of this movie is so I don't know the word for it. I mean, I've already said that this movie is unique, but I think that the climax is some of the most original, different, and just fascinating stuff that Marvel's pulled off. They've already done an amazing climax already this year with Captain America Civil War, and with Doctor Strange it starts to set up like, okay, fine, we're gonna see the big destruction of the entire city and some thing in the sky they have to stop and blah blah blah. We've already seen this 100 billion times before. But the way that Doctor Strange does this, the way that it shows the climax, the way that it forms all of that, I don't want to say how. It does have a lot of spoilers around it, but just the way that they do it is so fantastic. It's so strange, but it works. It works so well. I'd have to say that there are parts in the second act where it starts to dip. There was some scenes that was just like, okay, you can speed it up a bit, just a little bit. In the end, Doctor Strange really pulls off that immensely dense mythology that has surrounded these comics for many, many years. Nobody's ever been able to crack it yet, but I'm so happy that the MCU still, to this day, after making that 14th film, can still pull off something that really is unique. Doctor Strange is a unique superhero film. It's still an origin story, there's still those familiar plot beats, but it still does a lot more new things that is so welcome to watch. And I'm so excited to see the MCU keep going, keep pushing the boundaries further, do different things. Doctor Strange is proof of that. And I have to definitely say that Doctor Strange is worth your ticket and the Blu-ray. I really wish I could do what they did in that movie, all this cool magic stuff, teleporting to different planes of reality and warping, your physical space. Me and my brother walked out of the cinema like, I want to do that because that looked awesome. I don't want to do it. So Doctor Strange, have you seen it? Please tell me what you think about it. Remember, push that little red button. Thank you everyone out there for watching my videos.